Good morning. Welcome this morning here in the sanctuary, and for those who are out watching on the Zoom session, welcome everybody. You're here at the Community of Hope United Church of Christ, which is a sister congregation with Advent Lutheran ELCA, and together we form the Madison Christian Community. Now, I'm not Pastor Jan, I'm Lois Comay, a member of the worship team, and the worship team has put together this worship today. Jen is having a Sunday off. This is the second Sunday of Easter, and interestingly, it is also, April is Poetry Month. And today we are going to be honoring one of America's renowned poets, Mary Oliver, throughout the whole service. So we look forward to this time together in that. Now let's take a breath and take a moment in the stillness to be touched by the Holy One in our presence. The peace of Christ is with you all.
And also with you.
Let us all stand and welcome each other to this worship.
Good morning. We're going to do the call to worship a little differently here. The poem by Mary Oliver, Why I Wake Early. I'll say the light, I forget what you call it, the light words, the regular words. And you all can say the bold ones and the italics. And you can do it, I don't know if you want to do the one side of you. I don't know. I think we should all just do all of it. Yep. I'll do the regular words. Okay. Hello, sun in my face.
Hello,
Make the morning spread it over the fields and into the faces of the tulips and the nodding morning glories. And into the windows of even the miserable best preacher that ever was, dear star that just happens to be, where you are in the universe to keep us from ever darkness, to to ease us with warm touching, to hold us in the great hands of light. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Watch now. This and in kindness. Okay.
To continue with the service is prayer for transformation. It's the day from Mary Oliver. Today I am flying low and I'm not saying a word. I'm letting all the voodoos of ambition sleep. The world goes on as it must. The bees in the garden but rumbling a little, the fish leaping, the gnats getting eaten, and so forth. But I'm taking a day off. Quiet as a feather, I hardly move through reality. I'm traveling a terrific distance. Stillness, one of the doors into the temple. The next poem is called Wild Geese from Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert reprising. You only have to let the soft animals of your body love what it's loved. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes. Meanwhile, the geese are heading home again. Wherever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Now it's time for the children's message with Linda.
We're so glad you're here this morning. What did you do this winter? Oliver, what did you do this winter? Did you build a snowman? Did you go? It says it's on. I'll hold it closer. Okay, thank you. Did you go sledding? You went sledding? That's a fun thing to do, isn't it? You know what I did this winter? I joined a group called Project Feeder Watch, which meant that I had to sit looking at my bird feeders, of which we have a lot, a few hours every morning, 2 mornings a week or 2 evenings a week, and see what birds there were. And there were woodpeckers, there were cardinals, there were tufted titmice, there was all sorts of birds, but the ones I liked best were goldfinches. Now in the winter, sometime there were 17 goldfinches at my feeder, but they're a drab color. Drab means not very bright, like my jeans, they're not very bright. But in the spring, when the sun comes out more, guess what happens to the goldfinches? That's a goldfinch at my feeder now. What color is it? It is yellow, a bright, bright yellow, so it's called a goldfinch. But you know what? The goldfinch has a secret. What color do you think its feathers are? Anyone else? What color are its feathers? Yellow. But here's the secret. They're not all yellow. The feathers, if I've got this in here, so when we look at it, it looks like they're all yellow, right? Not so much. The feathers are really white, but they have a yellow tip. So Oliver, do you want to come up here? Can you hold this feather for me? Because I want to show you what happens. Okay, so you hold this feather, and you face so everyone can see. Okay, all right, and then, of course, they have another feather right on top. So can you hold 2 feathers? Oh, you are so good. But can you hold 3 feathers? Oh, you can. I see. Okay, but we don't want them next to each other. We want them lined up. Just hold on. I'm going to arrange them. Just open your hand. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to arrange them so that one goes in front of the other, goes in front of the other, like that. Uh-oh, and let's add another feather. There's a lot of coughs going around. Okay, can you hold that like that? So you see, so there's yellow, and they line up, and now I'm going to be the sun. And look what happens when the sun. Now, how does that happen? What happens is, the sun is here. You back away a little bit. Good. The sun is here on the outside, and it goes through the yellow feathers to the white feathers. So these feathers are really backlit, because is the feather very thick? No, it's pretty thin, isn't it? So the sun goes through the feather, and it bounces off. It's reflected so that these feathers are really backlit. Now, why am I spending a lot of time in a children's sermon talking about goldfinches? Do you have any idea? Well, probably most people out there don't either. And the reason is that we have light shining on us all time. It's the light of the love of God. And it's reflected off of us by the kind words we say, by the kind things we do to our friends and our family, and today, the kind things we're doing outside to the earth. So think about those reflections on the goldfinch, but on all of us. Thanks for coming up. Oh, and if you'd like a feather of any color, there's some next ones. Maybe your mom can take, and you can choose which feather you'd like to be if you were a bird.
Thank you. Okay, we have a reading from the Bible from Psalms 118, verses 21 to 24 and 29. I give thanks to you, O beloved, who answer our prayers and invite us to new life. The stone which the builders rejected has become the foundation of our lives. This, O eternal listener, is your work. It is marvelous in our eyes. This is the day which you have made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. We give thanks to you, O Blessed One, for you, O Blessed One, are kind. Your steadfast love endures forever. This is the day which you have made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Amen.
The Poetry Foundation has this to say about our poet for the day, Mary Oliver. Mary Oliver was an indefatigable guide to the natural world, particularly to its lesser-known aspects. Her 26 books of poetry and prose focus on the quiet occurrences of nature, industrious hummingbirds and goldfinches, egrets, motionless ponds, lean owls hunkering with their lamp eyes. Oliver stands comfortably on the margins of things, on the line between earth and sky, the thin membrane that separates human from what we loosely call animal. Hers was a search to, and I quote, understand both the wonder and the pain of nature. Oliver's poetry won numerous awards, including the Pulitzer Prize, the National Book Award, and a Lannan Literary Award for Lifetime Achievement. She is numbered among America's finest poets, as visionary as Ralph Waldo Emerson. I think we have to add just a few words to this description of Mary Oliver's work. Mary Oliver never stood on the margins or between earth and sky without a notebook and pen in hand, ready to scribble down whatever came into her line of sight and through the open door of her imagination. We are going to listen to, so you have to put on your listening ears. We are going to listen to about 10 minutes altogether of an hour's interview. Krista Tippett from NPR's On Being with poet Mary Oliver. You each have a piece of paper, a scrap of paper that looks like this. You might want to find a pen because, you know, if you're a Mary Oliver person, you have a pen at the ready so that you can scribble down a phrase or two that touches your own imagination and your heart. We will talk between, there are two pieces here, this longer beginning piece, and then we will have a short time of conversation, and then a closing piece. So we'll talk for just a short time about your thoughts, whatever phrase stuck out to you, whatever phrase touched your heart in this first section. And we will conclude with a few words from the poet. The psalmist writes, I give thanks to you, O beloved, who answer our prayers and invites us to new life. For you are kind. Your steadfast love endures forever. This is the day which you have made, and we will be glad in it, no matter the difficulties that surround us in our lives. Mary Oliver knew many, many of life's difficult realities. Walking around in the woods of Ohio and Massachusetts saved her, she says. She says she was saved by the beauty of the world. So listen to the world, she says, not your computer, and the wild psyche of the earth will begin to trust and will teach us about our connection to this good earth and our connection to each other. Pay attention, Mary Oliver says, and life's poetry will offer us a prayer, food for the soul, will gift us with imagination and turn us toward ancient, essential questions. How shall I live? What does it mean? Let us listen. And don't forget to write a phrase down.
I just wanted to read, I just love, I just want to read these. This is from Long Life also. The world is fun and familiar and healthful and unbelievably refreshing and lovely. And it is the theater of the spiritual. It is the multiform. Utterly obedient to a mystery.
Well, you know, it is. We all wonder, who's God? What's going to happen when we die? All that stuff. And I don't think it's never nothing. I'm very fond of Lucretius.
Say some more.
And Lucretius says it was just everything's a little energy. You go back and you're these little bits of energy, and pretty soon you're something else. Now that's a continuance. It's not the one we think of when we're talking about the golden streets and the angels with how many wings and whatever.
Right.
The hierarchy of angels. Even angels have a hierarchy. But it's something quite wonderful. That the world is pretty much, everything's mortal. It dies, but its parts don't die. Its parts become something else. And we know that when we bury a dog in the garden and with a rose bush on top of it. We know that there is replenishment. And that's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And what more there might be, I don't know, but I'm pretty confident of that one.
And I mean, again, do you think spending your life as poet and working with words and responding to the world in the way you have as a poet gives you, I don't know, tools to work with? Because putting words around God or what God is or who God is or, you know, I don't know, heaven, it's always insufficient.
It's always insufficient, but the quest and the wonder is not unsatisfying. It's never totally satisfying, but it's intriguing, and also what one does end up believing, even if it shifts, has an effect upon the life that you live, or the life that you choose to live or try to live.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an endless, unanswerable quest. So I find it endlessly fascinating. And I think also religion is very helpful in people not thinking that they themselves are sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
That there is something that has to do with all of us that is more than all of us are.
And I think, you know, that is what you do because of the particular vision that you have, what you pay attention to, what you attend to, which is that grandeur, that largeness of the natural world, which, you know, a couple of years ago when I was writing, and I picked up your book, 1,000 Mornings, you know, and here's the first one. I go down to the shore. I go down to the shore in the morning, and depending on the hour, the waves are rolling in or moving out. And I say, oh, I am miserable. What should I do? And the sea says in its lovely voice, excuse me, I have work to do.
I love that.
I love that. And I have to say also, to me, it was just, it's so perfect. It kind of is like, what's the point of writing 50,000, bringing 50,000 new words into the world? This says it all.
Well, I have had a rash which seems to be continuing of writing shorter poems.
I noticed that in your more recent
And it
poems.
probably is an influence from Rumi, whose poems are many of them are quite short. But if you could say it in a few lines, you're just decorating for the rest of it, unless you could make something more intense. But if you said what you want to say, you're not going to make it more intense. You're just going to repeat yourself. So I've got a poem that will start the next book, and I think it goes like this. Things take the time they take. Don't worry. How many roads did St. Augustine follow before he became St. Augustine? Same kind of thing. What else is there to say? And, you know, that's 4 lines, and that's not a day's work, but the poem is done.
And it speaks so completely, perfectly to the eye who's reading the poem, even though it's about St. Augustine, but it's about all of us, right?
Yeah, and people do worry that they're not wherever they want to go. And St. Augustine, I had just read a biography of him, and he was all over the map before he settled down.
I'd like to talk about attention, which is another real theme that runs through your work, both the word and the practice. And I know people associate you with that word. But I was interested to read that you began to learn that attention without feeling is only a report, that there's more to attention than for it to matter in the way you want it to matter.
That you need
Say something
empathy.
about that learning.
You need empathy with it rather than just reporting. Reporting is for field guides, and they're great. They're helpful, but that's what they are. But they're not thought provokers, and they don't go anywhere. And I say somewhere that attention is the beginning of devotion, which I do believe.
So what words settled into your hearts this morning from Mary Oliver?
Well, she said the question and the answer is always unanswerable, talking about God, but endlessly fascinating.
So the question and answer about God is always unanswerable, but endlessly fascinating and unanswerable. Yep. Why did that settle into your heart?
Because I think that's something that that the question, what does God, what does heaven look like? Where will the change be? Will my great-grandma be there for me? You know,
Right.
I think those are questions we all ask and wonder about.
Right.
So I think she taps on so many universal themes.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anybody else? I saw a hand over here.
She commented that religion helps us know that we're not self-sufficient. And no matter how
I like that too.
how we define God for ourselves, there's a spirit that is compelling to us individually. And I think that's great.
What was the,
Hold it close.
as she was talking about wanting to express things more simply, was it things take the time that they
They
take?
take. Yes.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
That applies to so much. I think the stories that resonate with me most from the Bible, Jesus told simple parables, but they have a lot of depth and meaning.
Then they require that thinking that she talked about, thought provokers, and absolutely they are thought provokers. Thanks, Dorothy.
What grabbed my attention was her sentence that attention without feeling is only a report. And that brought to mind Walt Whitman's poem about the stars, where he attended an astronomy lecture, which was just full of technicalities, and finally he couldn't stand it anymore, and he left the lecture hall and went outside and looked at the stars himself.
Looked up at the stars.
Yes.
Amen. I like that too. Thanks, Dorothy.
I being the non-poet in the group.
Oh, I suspect there are lots of non-poets in here.
So I like what the sea said. Excuse me, I have work to do. It keeps it basic.
Kids, keep it basic. Yep. We all have things that make us sad and unhappy, but there is always work to do. Yes. Joanne.
And right at the beginning, one of the things that struck me was this ancient essential questions. And then she went on with that. Yeah, I think we all think that way. Well, at least I do.
So do I. Yeah, and we use these metaphors and these ways of thinking to help us go deeper. Yeah.
I was struck, Vicki, actually by something you said before we listened. You said, I was saved by the beauty of the earth. And
of the world, she said.
Of the world?
Of
okay,
the world.
well, I translated it to earth.
Exactly.
Because not having a clue what this service was going to be about or what you were going to say, I chose for the music for meditation, for the beauty of the earth.
Right. And
which is powerful for me.
And Mary Oliver would have loved and joined in with everything that happened before church today. So she would have smiled about that and been right in there with it for sure. One more if somebody else has something they'd like to say. Pat.
Hi. I was struck by attention is the beginning of devotion.
Oh, I like that too. Tell me more. Why do you think that's important?
Well, first we have to notice it. We have to be aware of things before we can appreciate them.
And think about them a little.
Yes.
And then
yes.
move on to devotion. It is a choice. The things we attend to and the things we are devoted to. Well, let's listen to the closing words.
I'm conscious that I want to move towards a close. I'd like to hear a little bit more. I mean, you mentioned Rumi a few times. In 1,000 Mornings, you say, if I were a Sufi, for sure, I would be one of the spinning kind. Yeah. And that's clear. I mean, that actually it makes so much sense from how you were always on the move, even as a teenager. How do you think your spiritual sensibility, and here we are again with that tricky word, but how has your spiritual, I don't want to say how's your spiritual life, I mean, you've said somewhere you've become more spiritual as you've grown older, and I mean, what do you mean when you say that? What's the content of that?
I've become kinder, more people-oriented, more willing to grow old. I always was investigative in terms of everlasting life, but a little more interested now, a little more content with my answers.
There's this poem, the second poem in 1,000 Mornings, which is your 2013 book, which also to me just kind of, it's like, says it all. What's the point of that I happen to be standing? Would you read that one?
Oh, yeah.
Which is just, oh, there it is.
Yeah. I don't know where prayers go or what they do. Do cats pray while they sleep half asleep in the sun? Does the opossum pray as it crosses the street? The sunflowers, the old black oak growing older every year? I know I can walk through the world along the shore or under the trees with my mind filled with things of little importance in full self-attendance, a condition I can't really call being alive. Is a prayer a gift or a petition? Or does it matter? The sunflowers blaze, maybe that's their way. Maybe the cats are sound asleep, maybe not. While I was thinking this, I happened to be standing just outside my door with my notebook open, which is the way I begin every morning. Then a wren in the privet began to sing. He was positively drenched in enthusiasm. I don't know why. And yet, why not? I wouldn't persuade you from whatever you believe, or whatever you don't. That's your business. But I thought of the wrens singing. What could this be if it isn't a prayer? So I just listened, my pen in the air. Well, the poems keep coming.
You know, in the poetry handbook, you wrote, poetry is a life-cherishing force, and it requires a vision, a faith, to use an old-fashioned term. Yes, indeed. For poems are not words, after all, but fires for the cold, ropes let down to the lost, something as necessary as bread in the pockets of the hungry. Yes, indeed. And I just wanted to read that back to you, because I feel like you've given that to so many people. You've demonstrated that, and you know, you also write in poetry about thinking of Schubert scribbling on a cafe napkin. Thank you, thank you. And I feel like so many people, when they imagine you standing outdoors with your notebook and pen in hand, you know, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been a beautiful conversation.
You are much welcome. I'm free, I'm free.
Yes, you are.
Now for the time, prayers for the community. And we read responsively, I happen to be standing. I don't know where prayers go or what they do. Do cats pray while they sleep, half asleep in the sun? The sunflowers, the black growing older every year. I know I can walk through the world, along the shore, under the trees, with my mind filled with things of little importance, in full self-attendance. A condition I can't really call being alive. Is prayer a gift, a petition, or does it matter? The sunflower blaze, maybe that's their way. Maybe the cats are sound asleep, maybe not. While I was thinking this, I happened to be standing just outside my door with my notebook open, which is the way I begin every morning. Then a wren in the privet began to sing. He was positively drenched in enthusiasm. I don't know why, and yet, why not? I wouldn't persuade you from whatever you believe or whatever you don't. But I thought of the wren singing, that could this be if it isn't a prayer? So I just listened to my pen in the air. We'll take this time now for our own personal prayers, some deep in our hearts, silent, just emerging, some concerns on our heart, rejoicing, thanksgiving. So this time is your time for personal prayers.
I give thanks for hands at work in the dirt. For my sister, her son, Jeremy, with his addiction.
I pray for Judge Hannah Dugan, who is being persecuted for simply showing Christian compassion.
Let us join together in the prayer of Jesus. Ground of all being, mother of life, Father of the universe, your name is sacred, beyond speaking. We know you are with us now. May our longings be our longings, our connection. May there be food for the human family today and for the whole earth community. Forgive us for the falseness of what we have done, as we forgive those who are untrue to us. Do not forsake us at the time of conflict, but lead us into new beginnings. Amen. Now is the time for the offering and the time of listening to meditation. The basket for the offering is in the back of the sanctuary, and we will spend some time in meditation, and you can walk and put your offering in the basket. share in the prayer of dedication. The dedication of our offering, the dedication of our Thanksgiving today, the dedication of poetry and stories. The prayer of dedication, let us read together. Who made the world? Who made the sun? I don't know exactly what prayer is, but I know how to pay attention, how to fall down in the grass, how to kneel in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields. Tell me, what else should I have done? Tell me, what is it that we plan to do with our wild, precious life? Amen. Time for announcement.
Okay, it's time for announcements. Anyone have anything they'd like to share?
Oh, good dear.
Jen made a comment last week that she knew we were restraining ourselves when it came to announcements. Apparently, we really were. Okay. My first announcement is some of you should have received, largely by email, but a couple of you by email, by ground mail, your first quarter donation statements. To me, the most important part of that donation statement, well, you may think it's a chance for you to check your pledge or your giving thus far, but for me, the most important part was that if you looked carefully at the bottom, there was a new name down there for your contact person with respect to who to contact with any questions. And that was Diane Eddings. And that is because Diane has agreed to become our bookkeeper and to wear, in addition, our financial secretary hat. So, yay, Diane. And so I'm going to continue to wear the treasurer hat, but there have traditionally been 3 hats. You know, the financial secretary, the bookkeeper, and the treasurer. So now we've got some sharing in all these roles. So, Diane, is there anything you want to say?
Beth has been doing an amazing job of 3 people for a long time, so.
The first thing I want to say is to thank the worship committee for this lovely service. It would have been appropriate on any day, but it was really special for Earth Day. And the second thing is we now have some dates on the sign-up sheets for the brunch. Some are on Sundays, some are on Saturdays, so you should be able to find one that fits your situation.
Okay. I'm making an announcement for the First Nations group. After several years of, well, first we created the land statement, and one of the second part that we have been working on is bringing a boulder that's already on the property up to, we've decided on the place where we want it, and it's going to be opposite the memorial garden at the end of the berm there. And hopefully that's going to be placed there pretty soon in the next coming weeks. And the boulder is coming from the fire ring. There's a nice one that's almost flat naturally. And the guy who's moved boulders around here before is going to bring that over to the berm. And I guess I hear there's a youth project creating a bench that is going to replace that boulder at the fire ring. And then the next step will be to have that boulder engraved, and it's going to be engraved. We decided instead of having our entire land statement, which is a little long, we're going to have 2 sentences. It's a 2-sentence shortened version on the boulder that says the most important part of it. We'll still have the rest of the statement on a framed poster in the Shalom Room. And so that's going to hopefully happen sometime in the next few weeks. The moving, and probably not until later May, having the engraving done. Now, the third part of our work that we've been working on is creating some kind of a project or a regular thing, like for reparations, of what we can do to, just make one step in making up for lost land from the original people here, the Ho-Chunk tribe. And so we're in the middle of creating a scholarship fund through MATC, and we need to have $5,000 to create a fund through their foundation. And this will go to scholarships for tribal members in Wisconsin. Most likely it'll be tribal members in Wisconsin and that live in Wisconsin. And so what we need to do is have $5,000 to start the fund. And, oh, by the way, the money for the stone and the engraving has been covered through some memorial funds that we had at both Advent and at Hope. The money is coming out of the Roger Buffett Memorial Fund. We all thought that Roger would approve of that. And the money for the scholarship, we're going to have what do you call it? A campaign. That's the word I was thinking of. A campaign for fundraising. And if you would like to help contribute to starting this scholarship fund, you could write out a check today and leave it in the basket. We need to raise, both churches together are going to be raising $5,000. And if you want to write a check to help start that, just write it out to the MCC and put in the note part for First Nations Scholarship Fund. And I guess that's about it for my announcement today. Thank you.
My name is Candy Blado. First of all, thank you to everyone for their thoughts and prayers and concerns about Phil's situation. He will have heart surgery tomorrow. They will repair his prolapsed, or replace his prolapsed mitral valve. And then there will be recovery, and then there will be rehab, and then there will be crabbiness and the usual parts of getting better in this thing. But thanks again, I appreciate, we both appreciate your concerns.
Good morning. Not to repeat, but to repeat. On the community meals, our friendship meals that we're planning, Peter and I are hosting next Sunday, right after church. We'll do a brunch style at our house. So the folks that signed up with us, be sure to remember to come over. It's 41 Apple Hill. It's just whatever correct direction that way on Westfield Road. We're only a few blocks from church. So that's next Sunday, May 4. And Corky and Betty are doing theirs on June 7. It's a kid-friendly event. And Jean Einerson and Ann Ward are doing theirs on June 8. So we put the dates up on the sign-up sheet. So please be sure to sign up, because it'll be a nice time to get to know and be friendly with folks. And a reminder for the women, we're having salad supper this Tuesday, April 29. So be sure to come. And last but not least, all this, the poetry and the earth and all those good things. Peter and I have, for my birthday, a bird fee camera feeder for birds. And it has been a project. It has up. I've had one chickadee so far. Last night I thought, oh my goodness, we have a bird here at 2 a.m. in the morning. And the video shows an opossum going down and eating the seeds. And where it came from, I don't know, because I have an animal baffle and it found a way. So that's life.
I was going to say, I've been watching my bird feeder too, and there's some squirrels that are having a party trying to get to it.
Hi,
Hi, everyone. Rachel Gilbertson. I'm on the immigrant support team here at MCC, and we have 2 events coming up we just wanted to put on your radar. So on Friday, May 2nd, is the Day Without an Immigrant rally. At 3 o'clock, they're going to be meeting at, I just forgot, the park. Friday, May 2nd. Yes, yes, that's this coming Friday. Yep, so they're going to be meeting at the park that is very close to Lake Monona, and they're going to, Brittingham Park, thank you, at 3 o'clock. And then at 4 o'clock, they're going to be marching down to the Capitol. Joyce Anderson says that if you would like to coordinate rides with her, you can get in contact with her and Larry. They're going to be carpooling. And then on Sunday, May 4th at noon, we're going to be hosting a Know Your Rights training event here for the community at noon. And then we're going to have some refreshments afterwards. And so it is like an open to the public event. So we've been advertising at various locations in the Wexford neighborhood, at Lucier, Way Forward, and anyone is invited. We will have the event in English, but I'll be there in case we need any interpretation in Spanish. So it's with an immigration lawyer. All right, thanks.
Very quickly, just an update about Moses. 6 members of Moses will be going up to Wausau on this coming Tuesday to testify before the Joint Finance Committee. So.
Thanks for all the announcements. There's a lot of information out in the Shalom Room as far as signups and everything, so just check that out. Birthdays and anniversaries. Anybody there? Yes, Ken. Well, happy birthday today. Okay, I saw another hand back here. Yeah.
It's my mom's birthday next Sunday, but I might not be here, so I just want to celebrate.
Okay. Happy birthday next Sunday, Pat. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, let's sing happy birthday.
For our benediction, we're going to read another Mary Oliver poem, and this one's called The Morning Poem. Under every morning, the world is created under the orange sticks of the sun. The heaped ashes of the night turn into leaves again and fasten themselves to the high branches, and the ponds appear like black cloth on which are painted islands of summer lilies. If it is your nature to be happy, you will swim away along the soft trails for hours, your imagination alighting everywhere. And if your spirit carries within it the thorn that is heavier than lead, if it's all you can do to keep on trudging, there is still somewhere deep within you a beast shouting that the earth is exactly what it wanted. Each pond with its blazing lilies is a prayer heard and answered lavishly every morning, whether or not you have ever dared to be happy, whether or not you have ever dared to pray. And I'd like to read some words from Lamentation, the 3rd chapter, 22nd and 23rd verses, as a blessing for us. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is his faithfulness. Bless you. Amen.